The NRA realized that school shootings are actually really good for them. You want to know why? In that panic state, people go and purchase more weapons. And now, as many as 14 dead, including several children, in Texas elementary school shooting. There's an active shooting, ongoing active shooting
active shooter
happening
may or
in
may
Texas.
Not be available in those settings. Getting qualified.
Moving on to what's going on here in Robb Elementary School.
This scene probably cries out to have the
Multiple
FBI's
people are
evidence
dead, including several children, after an active shooting incident at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Law enforcement sources told ABC News. Multiple sources told ABC News the suspect is dead. Uvalde Memorial Hospital has confirmed to ABC News that 2 children died from presumed gunshot injuries in the incident. Additionally, 13 students were being treated in the hospital's emergency department in the wake of an incident, the hospital said. 2 patients were transferred to the San Antonio for treatment, while a third was pending transfer, the hospital said. A 45-year-old was also hospitalized after getting grazed by a bullet, the hospital said. University Health in San Antonio said it had 2 patients from the shooting incident, a child and an adult. The hospital said the adult, 66-year-old woman, is in critical condition. It did not have an update yet on the condition of the child. Uvalde Mayor Don McClellan did not confirm the casualties, but told ABC News in a text message that this is a very bad situation. He said the office is trying to contact parents before releasing any information. State officials were told as many as 14 students are feared dead, but we don't know. Only two have been confirmed thus far. But these are according to the preliminary reports provided to top state officials, as well as the shooter, who is thought to be 18 years old. This is unfolding in Uvalde, Texas. Here is Tony Gonzalez, who represents the district. I voted no on 2 gun control measures in the House today. I'm a proud supporter of the Second Amendment and will do everything I can to oppose gun grabs from the far left. The far left will never stop trying to take Americans' guns. I am proud to fight for the Second Amendment in Washington. The radical left wants to take away your guns, not on my watch. Proud to defend your Second Amendment. Awesome. Ted Cruz hitting us with the prayers in record time. I mean, they're going to fucking say, don't make this political, and they're going to say thoughts and prayers. Heidi and I are fervently lifting up in prayer the children and families in the horrific shooting at Uvalde. We are in close contact with the local officials, but the precise details are still unfolding. Thank you to heroic law enforcement and first responders for acting so swiftly. Oh, I'm praying all right. According to CNN's Omar Jimenez, over a dozen are injured, 2 are dead after a shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. A spokesperson told from Uvalde Memorial Hospital told CNN the hospital received 13 children at the facility who are being treated for varying injuries. Suspect is in custody. Here's the ABC News. We're tuning now into the ABC News live coverage of the
killing a teacher, and I guess we'll wait to see the condition of those students. But my God,
yeah, unimaginable. Thank you for that correction there on the name again. Salvador Ramos is the name that Governor Greg Abbott has ID'd.
It's another day in America,
who,
dude.
Again, 18-year-old Uvalde high school student there. We are going to work to wrap our heads around what is happening there in Uvalde, Texas, with that number and the amount of young life lost at this hour. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Bro, I love when people are like, man, this is so unimaginable. It's so unimaginable. Really? Is it unimaginable? I got family in Texas and upstate New York this month. Has been fucking heavy for me. Is it really that unimaginable when you think about it? It's like the most imaginable thing. Sandy Hook was 9 years ago. This country will never do anything to put a stop to this without radical change in who holds power. Yes. And before they somehow make this about gun crime in Chicago, yeah, no, that's coming. Get ready for that. All of that. I mean, we know what they're going to say, but Texas Governor Greg Abbott confirms that 14 children and 1 teacher were killed in the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde today. Governor Abbott also says the gunman is dead. I mean, yeah, third world country with a Gucci belt. It's just straight up. It's just straight up how it is.
It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into. The shooter was Salvador Ramos, an 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun, and he may have also had a rifle, but that is not yet confirmed according to my most recent report. He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and killed a teacher. Mr. Ramos, the shooter, he himself is deceased and is believed that responding officers killed him. The shooter was Salvador Romas, an 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun, and he may have also had a rifle.
Dude, I don't know what to say about this other than here it is. A secret tape made after Columbine shows the NRA's evolution on school shootings. Soon after the Columbine high school shooting in 1999, which was like one of the biggest, most famous ones out of these that are now commonplace, obviously, senior leaders of the National Rifle Association huddled on a conference call to consider canceling their annual convention, scheduled just days later and a few miles away. 13 people lay dead at a high school. Dude, I'm going to fucking like put every Turkish person in the chat that is like frantically and hysterically fucking coming in here to be like, dude, you have to cover Turkish news right now, on a rocket ship, okay? Gideceğim belanıza ha. Bilmiyorum Kılıçdaroğlu'nun ne yaptığını, Erdoğan'ın ne yaptığını. Şu anda Amerika'da 14 tane çocuk öldü Texas'ta. Hala gerizekalı kalıp burada. Abi hemen bakman lazım Kılıçdaroğlu. Ölecek mi amına koyayım bakmazsam şu anda? Ha? Ne olacak hikayeye? Hikaye bir yere mi gidecek gerizekalılar? 13 people lay dead at a high school in Colorado. More than 20 were injured. Images of students running from the school were looped on TV. And the NRA strategists on the call sounded shaken and panicked as they pondered their next step into what would become an era of routine and horrific mass school shootings. Hey, guess what happened, actually? The NRA realized that school shootings are actually really good for them. You want to know why? Because in the aftermath of school shootings, the Republicans will say thoughts and prayers and say, don't make this political. And the Democrats will say, well, it's time to do something about gun violence. And then they will never end up doing anything about it. But in that fucking panic, you will see, in that panic state, people go and purchase more weapons. This is a known secret at this point. Okay? This is a known secret that that you know who sells guns? Democratic leadership and Democratic having a Democrat president. That's what makes guns that's what fucking motivates people to go out and buy even more guns. Because they think, oh man, Democrats are coming for our guns. And that fucking kind of attitude, that fear has been whipped around over and over again. The only time where gun sales actually go up under a Republican administration is when there is so much severe unrest that that people actually turn around. And stockpile weapons like it happened during COVID. I mean, here, look at that. Greg Abbott. I'm embarrassed. Texas #2 in nation for new gun purchases behind California. Let's pick up the pace, Texans. This was all the way back in 2015. My mom's from Newtown, and I have family who work in the school system there. We were at Thanksgiving down the year Sandy Hook happened. The way Republicans and news media just fucking handwave all this shit is unthinkable and unpreventable. I'm fucking sick of it. Just fucked. It's just another fucking example of political apathy Dems have. I mean, yeah, still feel that way even now. This is like different times when shootings have happened. Think about that. Like Jordan, friend of the show, Jordan Ewell, replied on November 5th, 2017, in the aftermath of another shooting. And then someone else, climate crisis actor, replied to him on August 3rd, 2019, even now. And of course, the cycle will continue, as always. But given the shooter's background, from what we understand as a Hispanic person, I suspect that this is going to turn into illegal immigrants are responsible for this real quick.
To do that. And it really does boil down, as John Cohen said, you can certainly monitor social media the best you can, but that has its real limitations because of the number of people that are online. The key really is getting communities to tell you what's going on. I guarantee you there is information about this 18-year-old, whether it's at the high school or other kids that he associated with, or maybe even the teachers have picked up bits and pieces of information. But there's a thing called leakage where people spew out information that becomes very telling once you go back and look at a case. And they're going to be, attempting
Robb
to
Elementary
collect
is a
that.
public school located.
But
Is it Robb Elementary where the shooting happened?
Sadly, have this conversation every day. I don't even like saying that, but that's kind of where we are with firearms availability and the anger and rage that's going on in this country.
Here's
it
the
really
overview of Robb
help
Elementary.
when you get into subjects like immigration, minorities, people of color.
Here, let's take a look at the demographics of Robb Elementary. First and foremost, the first thing you should probably look to is this number right here. 3,335 out of the 4,406 4,446 elementary schools. This school ranks 3,335th. The grades are 2 to 4. It's a public school. Total enrollment is 576. Okay. Here's the overview. Robb Elementary is a public school located in Uvalde, Texas, which is in a remote town setting. The student population of Robb Elementary is 576, and the school serves 2 to 4. At Robb Elementary, 29% of students scored at or above proficient level for math, and 25% scored at or above level for reading. 25%. Only a quarter of the fucking student population is scoring at or above a level of comprehensive reading and also proficient level for math. The school's minority student enrollment is 91%, and the student ratio is 17 to 1, which is worse than that of the district. The student population is made up of 50% female students and 50 male students. The school enrolls 84% economically disadvantaged students. There are 34 equivalent full-time teachers and 1 full-time school counselor. That's the reason why it's ranked 3,335 out of 4,446.
I agree with John. John and I both worked at the Department of Homeland Security.
I'm dumb. I'm gonna look dumb, but fuck it. Why does the academic performance have to do with the school shooting? The reason why I'm bringing up the demographics of the school and the academic performance of the school, where it is literally one of the worst schools in reading proficiency ranking, is because funding. That's how racism works. Racism is not when someone says, hey, fuck you, and then use a slur. This is a school that is underfunded, like many of the underfunded public schools, especially in black and brown neighborhoods. Okay? That's what this is. This is a consequence of systemic racism. How do you think America could effectively help prevent guns from getting into the hands of troubled youth and troubled adults? I grew up in a rural town in Texas, so I grew up around guns in a positive light, but even now I'm noticing that guns are not as great as need for American people was taught me. I'm a baby leftist. Just trying to learn more. I mean, guns are fine. Like I have never shied away from openly admitting that I enjoy firing weapons, okay? I do. But they're also created with the express purpose of ending life, okay? Ending organic matter life. That's what guns do. They have no other purpose other than shooting someone and killing them. So, understandably, there should be a level of responsibility that you need to demonstrate when purchasing something like this. That's it. Obviously, there needs to be significant rollback. But America refuses to do that because the gun manufacturing industry is incredibly powerful. Small arms sales are pretty important. The death penalty should be applied in all states so that criminals are afraid. What? Yeah, dude. As in Texas? Is that what you're saying? A Texas that doesn't have the death penalty, that's why criminals are not afraid here? Is that what you're saying? Are you familiar with the state of Texas? The NRA and gun makers have successfully made gun ownership into a major part of culture and people's personalities? Absolutely. This issue is pretty much unsolvable.
As this country tries to get its act together, and it takes time, in the meantime, our children are dying. Our elders are dying in grocery stores. Our children in the halls of schools. And here we have another mass shooting at a school with double-digit numbers.
That's right. And as Brad said, we will likely, based on the current threat environment, be having the same discussion within the next few weeks. It's, on the same weekend that we had the shooting in Buffalo, we had mass shootings in other cities in the country as well.
I'm curious to hear any possible defense of widespread gun ownership in a country where kids are literally dying what seems like every week to gun violence. It seems indefensible.
Communities across the country, as Elizabeth indicated, need to organize themselves. It's not so much was the person on the radar screen, the question we should be asking is the radar screen tuned the right way to pick up on an individual who may be in the community, who may be traveling down the path to violence? I think that there's a lot of work that can be done in that area, and whether it's an educator, a coworker, a student, a family member, or somebody who's seeing something online, we need to make sure people understand what are the warning signs. And then communities across the country have to take
the death toll has risen
what
to
resources
16.
They have and what they can do to prevent an act of violence. I will say one other thing, and Brad said something that I totally agree with. We are an angry country, and in some cases, it's anger that's very individualized. And that can at times manifest itself in an individual using violence as a way to express that anger. But it's an anger. It's a flame of anger that's being fanned sometimes by our public discourse. And something that we could do immediately is to have our public figures, whether they be in government or in the media or in other parts of our society, work to reduce the temperature of the anger that's way too prevalent in our society, because our adversaries, they look at the societal fractures, whether it's on issues, as Brad said, on abortion.
Seems like they targeted a minority school. No, according to the details that are readily available immediately, and obviously it's a breaking news story, so you need to be very careful with your analysis right now. But the shooter himself was, I believe, Salvadoran, and so it's not like this wasn't like targeted to like kill Hispanic children or whatever. The shooter is probably from the community, and the suspicion originally is that it might be that the grandmother of the shooter was there, but I don't know, and I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not gonna. The only reason why I'm bringing that up is because so that you understand and you're not making like you're not launching ridiculous conspiracies. Not Salvadoran. His name is Salvador. Oh, I thought he was also Okay, his name is Salvador. Sorry. I thought they said he was. Maybe I'm wrong. I must have misunderstood. But I mean, he is Hispanic. The shooter is Hispanic. So that much is. Wait, what the fuck is going on? ABC News coverage is like going crazy. They already nuked his Insta, only had one selfie and some gun pics. CNN used over 3 minutes to list all cities and such events have happened. It took CNN anchors over 3 minutes to list all cities that have had mass shootings this year. It's only May. That's awesome. So far, there have been 201 mass shootings in the United States, and it's only May. Yeah, in 144 days that have passed by in 2021, there have been more than 200 mass shootings that have occurred in this country. The Republican talking points are going to be teachers need to be armed to prevent these shootings. Also, more anti-immigration laws and building the wall. Just to let chat know what's going to happen on Twitter and YouTube. Oh yeah, the shooter is Hispanic. They're going to say that it's illegal immigrants, even if it doesn't matter what it is. They're going to say you need more guns, and they're going to try to do like a pilot program, like the one that they tried to launch in Florida, where they offer teachers subsidies for getting training on how to use a weapon, and try to make sure that try to arm teachers, basically make schools like turn schools into an open carry or like allow people to concealed carry even. I mean, here this is Texas. Like Texas literally passed a fucking no license or training needed to carry a gun in Texas bill. They passed an open carry firearm bill this last year. Texas safeguards the Second Amendment. Today, constitutional carry goes into effect. Texans who legally own a gun are now allowed to carry it in public. No license or training is needed. Like, that's insanity, dude. The only country on the fucking planet where like our leaders are flexing that you can just buy a murder weapon without any sort of fucking the only country on the planet where the only country on the fucking planet where the governor is like, oh yeah, you can buy a murder weapon with ease without any kind of fucking training necessary. Isn't that nice?